Hey everyone, so today I want to talk about doing board games on a budget because not everyone has, it's not even that much money to spend on board games, this much, but you might have this much, or maybe slightly more, or maybe slightly less. And those some games can be worth the bang for the buck in special ways, as in they come with tons and tons of stuff, such as Gloomhaven in this massive box. You, again, still may not have quite enough in your budget this month to get a fancy special game like this. So what will you do? So let me start first by sharing a bit about how we've managed to get some good deals on some of the board games that we've purchased. One of our very first things that we often do when we have our eye on a new board game is go to CamelCamelCamel, which is a price tracking website, and we'll enter in the item we're interested in, and then we'll set a price point for it, enter in our email, and start tracking it. And basically what CamelCamelCamel does is alert you as to when that game hits that price point on a particular website like Amazon or eBay. Another cool thing about CamelCamelCamel is you can actually see what the lowest selling price has been for that item and the highest, as well as the trends over time. So it's just a really amazing feature to help you hopefully get a really great deal on a game. Second thing that my husband and I have done is we have participated in a math trade, a couple actually. And a math trade is a really cool board game community thing, and basically what you do is you find one in your area. We've had a couple hosted through Board Game Bliss, which is a board game store in Toronto, Canada. And basically when you enter in a game that you're willing to trade, you'll say what you're willing to trade it for. So you can hopefully put in games that are roughly equivalent in value, or you can try and go for a really sweet deal, and you never know what might just happen. You can even put in a gift card value that you're willing to pay X amount in Board Game Bliss dollars or an equivalent style gift certificate, and then the math trade algorithm basically crunches everybody's input and works to maximize the number of trades, and it'll spit out what you have to bring to the board game store or chosen location, and those people that you've traded with will bring theirs, and you basically drop off and pick up, and you're good to go with your new games that hopefully is what you might consider a good deal. Or again, just if you're looking to take money that you've already put into board games without actually dipping into new money, it might be a nice way to trade around for some new and fresh games. And if you ever want a game back, just put it back in for a trade. So that's another way. We also love to price compare between different stores. My husband loves to watch Board Game Bliss. Again, we're here in Toronto, Canada. We also look at 401 games. We've bought games from Harry Tarantula. We've gone to Meeple Mart, and we've also just looked into our own board game community. So going to a site like Board Game Geek, finding games that might be for sale in your local vicinity, and connecting with people there. Or we in Toronto have what's called TABS, the Toronto Area Board Gaming Community, and that's another way, just connecting with larger groups of gamers when they're looking to pawn off games. You might get just a deal on a used game. So those are just some high-level tips. I hope they're helpful. So some games, though, if you are on a budget, what are some that I would suggest? Well, there's kind of a couple different niches of budget board games that you might consider. For example, there are games that might be a little bit more expensive. Castles of Burgundy here is, just shy of $40, but it's really replayable, and it's a great two-player game. I wish I had tried it 3- and 4-player. I believe it would be very good with more players as well. But I think that one of the things you have to consider is how replayable a game is for the amount of money. A game that you can play once but is $20 is really not as valuable as a game you can play hundreds of times for $40. So to be honest, I would actually have to put games in like Castles of Burgundy and Race for the Galaxy, which I think are top tier games, especially for the amount of money that they are, which is sub $40. In fact, I think we even got our copy for Race for the Galaxy sub $30. So again, if you're watching out for some of those deals, you may find that there are some games that, again, are really amazing, replayable games, and they're just in that sweet spot of, $20 to $30, but it's going to go really, really far. That might be in contrast to some games like Love Letter, which I think is actually a great social game, but we played this one like nonstop for, a few months, a year, somewhere in that ballpark range with different people. Everyone we introduced it to really loved it. Haha, Love Letter, they loved it. But I would say we haven't actually pulled this game out in quite a few years now. It actually makes me want to play it again because it's been so long. This game's really cheap. I think when we bought it, it was $8, but we got it like 5 years ago. But I bet this is still sub 15, or I hope it is. Otherwise, you board game companies need to reconsider your pricing. Games like this, again, may lose their replayability over time. And so it's not quite as good as a deal. But again, this is still a game that, again, if you're just looking for a quick, fun thing, you've got 10 extra bucks in your pocket, this might be a good budget board game for you. You need more than 2 players, I would say. I like it with 4, but really fun, cheap game. There are other games that are popular, such as this one. I was looking at it on Amazon, and you know, this one, sub $20, but I would say fun only a couple times. It's really highly reviewed though, so maybe you guys really love it, and maybe I'm being too harsh on it, but I just think there's not as much game in something like this as I would want. But again, if you're looking for something sub $20, Forbidden Island is another one I've played, and I'd still say it's a good game. I just don't think it has the lasting power, so that's one of the considerations you have when buying a budget board game. A little bit different and kind of maybe more like Love Letter would be something like Battle Line. And I realize I'm not talking too much about what these different games are, so maybe I'll tell you a bit about Battle Line. Battle Line is a game where you have cards that you are drawing into your hand, and you are trying to play sets. So for example, 3 of a kind, or 3 of a color, or 6, 7, 8 in a row, and you're trying to have a more powerful combination placed in front of a line of pawns. And your goal is to capture 3 pawns before your opponent, or by the end of the game, own the majority of pawns in front of you. And again, you do that by having a better card combination on your side than your opponent's. And there's a couple special cool cards that they throw in to mix things up that aren't just simple color number cards. And this is a great Reiner Knizia game. I found we played it a lot. Again, it's a great budget board game. We then didn't play it for so much, but then we kind of picked it up here and there again because I think it had the replayability, maybe just not the back-to-back replayability that some other games definitely have for us. Let's see. Okay, so these are all ones that I think are really great. Modern Art, the card game. We have not played the full version yet, though we just recently acquired it. Bonanza, a classic Uwe Rosenberg game. And Codenames, a very hot Vlada game right now. So all 3 of these games are in that $20 or less region, probably close around $20. But all of these I think are great games that have lasting power, great for groups. They're social, interactive type games, which I think is really fun. Codenames, you're trying to give out clues to the person on your team to help them guess the cards which are linked to your spy organization before the other team can guess the cards based on their partner's clues for their organization. Really fun, cool game. You can definitely pick it up now. I've realized I was trying to find games that are even available that are cheap board games. And then Bonanza, this is a trading negotiation game where you're planting bean fields of matching beans, and you're trying to get beans that are worth more than other people and make them what are fair deals or maybe unfair deals, but making fair deals faster than anybody else and scoring victory points based on the beans that you collect. It doesn't sound as fun when you just talk about it like beans, but honestly, the negotiation is great at that game. And Modern Art, the card game by Reiner Knizia. This game, how can I say? You have so many cards in your hands for one. Essentially what you're trying to do is create the most expensive artist collection in your gallery as opposed to the other players, and the worth of the different paintings in your gallery is determined based on whatever is most popular among the collective group and what everyone played the most. So, a bit difficult of a game to explain, but a really fun game and a budget game, I would say, nonetheless. Another game that I think fits most budgets would be The Resistance, and this is a game that you need to be comfortable with lying. I'm not so comfortable lying, to be honest. I have a love-hate relationship with this game. I've definitely had a lot of fun playing it, but it's really hard for me when I'm the bad guy because I really don't like to say, it's not me, guys, put me on the mission, I will pass the mission. That's really rough for me. But it is, again, a really inexpensive game. It's a popular game. You can definitely still pick up copies of it. And I think definitely for the board gamers I've been exposed to, this is still a very popular game. In the game, you are trying to pass the mission if you're a good guy and fail the mission if you're not. And the good guys are trying to figure out the bad guys faster than the bad guys can fool the good guys. So some social deduction there, which is always fun. And then I wanted to conclude, oh wait, before I conclude, there is also this game, which I'm so sad about because I really do like this game, but my husband doesn't like this game very much, so I don't get to play it, but these are actually quite cheap. A box of this can be $15, I would say. And Pixel Tactics, it just feels so real through the art, and I just love having my different heroes out and combating the person on the other side. Basically, you're trying to kill off their heroes faster than they kill off yours, or your leader faster than you can kill off their leader, and you have basically 3 rows of characters in your game. They've all got different abilities. It's really cool in the cards. Definitely, I think it gets better with more plays. But again, a budget board game that I think is probably a bit underrated. I don't hear that much about it. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe it's just me that really likes this game, but I think the art goes a long way for me. And it's just a really fun game, and I have to put it in my budget board gaming series. And then finally, this is one that I fondly remember because we got it for $20. And for $20, this game is a steal. It's so much fun. Lord of the Rings, The Confrontation. You can't really get it right now, it looks like. In fact, I think I saw it for Canadian, like $200, which that's outrageous. This game is not worth $200. Not on any budget. But it would be worth $20 like we paid for it, or maybe $30, maybe. This game is a movement game where you're trying to move yourself across well, I should say, if you are the good guys, which don't we all want to be the good guys when we're talking about Frodo and Sam trying to get the ring to Mordor? When you're basically trying to move yourself across the board to drop the ring in Mount Doom, but you have to do that without getting revealed. And while the rest of your characters can engage in attacks and get themselves revealed, and you're just getting to play the different characters. It's a really neat game. Also, look who it's by, Reiner Knizia. He just designs great budget games, what can I say? Yeah, I guess I don't have much else to say about this game, but just that it's really, I guess maybe there's a bit of sentimentality here for me that we got such a great deal on it, and then when we started playing, we're like, this is a really good game for $20. Like, there's a good amount of game here, and it's the right amount of, like, medium mental taxation at the end of a day. It is, you might say, a filler game, but I almost feel like it's better standalone. Just, you want to enjoy a short-ish game that's, yeah, the right, like I said, medium mental taxation. Lord of the Rings, The Confrontation, and I think you should try and get it on a budget when it comes out. So those are my board game budgeting tips. Those are my board games recommending out of our collection if you're on a bit of a budget yourself. Not saying go buy any of them right now, but maybe some of them are on a Cyber Monday deal. Like I said, I've seen Codenames as low as $6.99. Not today, I don't think. But go get yourself out there, find some promo codes. Have fun looking for those hot board game deals. Let me know what you found. Maybe I need to add something to my collection and I need to know about that hot deal. All right, thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.